Alright guys, I'm making this video to teach you guys like the basics, and not the basics actually, the important things, the important features about fantasy. I'm not gonna get into like how to set your lineup and stuff like that, because I'm pretty sure that's easy and you already know how to do that. So anyway, I'm gonna start off with this main page right here, League, the main page, where you get directed to every single time you log in. The most important page here is this recent transactions page right here. This is where you can see all the transactions that happened in the league, just like trades, even trades or ads or drops. So you want to keep an eye out on here, because you never know. You can usually see a good player dropped, and maybe you can pick them up. While you're on this page, I'm just going to talk about these little other buttons that are next to each player's names. If you obviously click on the player's name, that's where you get like detailed information about the player. So like I'm just going to go ahead and click on Reggie Evans. Brings up a new window, and this is the page that you're going to be looking at a lot when before adding or dropping or even offering players for trade, because this is you get all the details about the player. And the most important page, the most important tab on this page is actually game log. Nothing else is really that important except these stats right here and game log. Game log is basically the player's stats, basically what he logged in during every single game. So you can see here December the 18th they played Utah, blah blah blah, and it's everything here from his minutes to his the number of field goals attempted and percentages and everything. So before adding a player or dropping a player or even completing trades for a player, always click on the player's name. It's like that. Click on the player's name, brings up a new window, and check his game log, because those averages don't really matter that much. Averages don't really matter that much because they probably like take into account the averages of the whole season. So I mean, if the player played really well in the first 20 games and has been playing bad in the last 10 games, then obviously his average is still going to be slightly high. So you're going to want to check the game log to see exactly how he's doing right now. So really important page. And next to each player's name is obviously their team name and position. And next little thing that you always want to be clicking on is this little yellow thing right here, which is player notes. If you want to know, if you want quick information or quick news about the player, like injury reports, or if he's being put in the starting rotation or anything like that, you can always click on this. The way to know that if a player has new information in his notes, like there's new information posted up about the player, is this little star like next to next to this little yellow box. See, if you look right here, Luke Richard whatever, he doesn't have a little red star, so that means that he doesn't have any recent news. So these players, they have recent news, probably as of today or as of yesterday. So when you see players with that, you want to click on that, because you never know. It probably says, hey, Reggie Evans had 15 boards yesterday, or or he's going to be injured for the next 10 days, or he's going to be put in the starting rotation while this other player is injured. So really important to click on these little player notes. And when you do, just like I said, you see the information about the player, the recent information about the player, and you see if there's any recent change right here is +1%. So that means that like he's been added on +1%, whatever that value is worth, on fantasy leagues. So that tells you right there that he's a player that that teams are looking at in all of fantasy leagues. So, and obviously right here it shows the percentage of him being owned. 10% is obviously means that he's not really an owned player, probably only in very deep leagues he's owned. And so, and obviously his rank, don't worry about that rank right now, it's pretty confusing, but that's what he's originally ranked. So remember, click on the player's name to get the game log details, and this little yellow thing, always click on that to see recent news and about the player. So nothing else to talk about here except on the right side right here. This is just basically the scoreboard, I guess, if a scoreboard, I guess, but it's not a daily scoreboard, it's a weekly scoreboard, right? So here you can see the weekly scores of every team. Not only can you see your own matchup like how you're doing with against your opponent, but you can see the rest of the team's matchups, so uh, that's a pretty handy thing just to see how you stand against other teams. And just above that are the weeks. This is basically you can go back to the previous week 7. Now we're in week 7, so you can see that with All Might Dwight beat the champ 5-4 and so on. And you can also go to next week. So you go to next week right here and you see who you're playing next. So that's a nice little thing to see sometimes. Some teams like to check what team they're playing next week and then maybe make a transaction or two depending on the team they're facing. So you might want to look at that sometimes, whatever. Look at that once in a while. And quickly, one more thing while we're on this page is right here, right under the league tab is team stats. If you click on team stats, this actually gives you your current your stats basically throughout the season. It gives you your win and loss stats, like for all categories, so you can specifically see how you're doing in free throws. For me, for example, with All Might Dwight, that's me. You could see that in 7 weeks so far, I've won field goal 5 times and I've lost field goal twice, and I've never won free throw. So you might want to look at this and see how your team is and how your team is doing compared to other teams and what categories you're actually really strong in. So I see something like free throws and I'm like, hey, I guess I'm bad in free throws, right? So and I look at something like this, turnovers. Hey, I'm pretty bad in turnovers, whatever. Just gives you more information about your team. And if you want, you can even click on totals right here, and it'll actually give you the exact number, the exact total. So if you want, you can sort these stats by whatever you want, by whichever category. So if I sort it by points, you see that We the Best has the most points total so far every single week. All his points combined, it gives him 4,600, and his rebounds, assists, and so on. So just wanted to let you know about that. Nothing else to talk about there. My team. When you click on My Team, it's basically your team. You see the table of all your players. On the left, you see all the positions right here. These are the starting positions, and these utility positions are basically open positions for any position. You can put a guard in there, a center, whatever you want. And the rest of these positions are obviously bench players. So today is Wednesday, December 19th. Every single time you click on My Team, it automatically goes to the current date. So because today is Wednesday, the 19th, it automatically goes to that date. So just think about this page almost like a calendar. Every single time you go, it flips to the page of that, of that date. So today we're on the day of this Wednesday, December the 19th, and therefore we see all the games today. So pretty easy, right? I'm not really gonna get into how you set your rosters. That's pretty easy. So right under the dates, the calendar dates, you could see something else, stats, and this is you can just see this is information you can see about your players. You can see your players' average stats. When you click on that, all your players are automatically showing their stats, their season stats. These are season averages. So this is a really handy tool if maybe you want to analyze your team and see what categories you're strong in and whatnot. So if looking at this page, I can see that if you look at my blocks page, you see that I don't have no players so far that average a block. Gerald Wallace 0.9. Alright, so Spencer Hawes 1.1, and Gasol and Dwight. So that tells me right there that I'm not that strong in blocks, and maybe it wouldn't hurt to add a few guys on blocks. So this is clicking on average stats is handy to analyze your team and see how everybody fits together. Ranks. When you click on ranks, this actually gives you the ranks, and these ranks are based on overall stats. They're not like they're not specifically dependent on one category. So these rankings that determine are based on basically players all around stats. So depending on how good a player does,